Good afternoon, everybody. Stephen from the Aroundtable here, and today I'd like to talk to you about some of my favorite albums from the 80s. I was talking to a friend and we were listening to some 80s music, and I said that was probably one of the last times um, I thought music was a lot of fun. And you can make fun of those hair metal bands or glam bands, whatever you want, but think of it this way: a lot of these guys played their own instruments, they sang their own songs, and there was no auto tune. So whatever you want to say about it, these guys did their own stuff. You don't have to like the genre. I think it was fun and I loved it. So I'm just going to go. This is probably going to be round one. I'm sure there's a couple more rounds that'll pop in my head later on as I finish this. So I'm saying this is part one. So we're going to start off. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge Kiss fan. My first Kiss record was Lick It Up. So I'm going with 1983's Lick It Up as one of my favorites of the 80s. This was their much publicized coming out, removing the makeup. It was on MTV. It was a big deal. But Kiss proved that they could change their sound a bit and keep up with the new breed of metal that was coming out, that was getting airplay, like the Bon Jovis, the Poison, Warrant, everybody else. They proved that they can match them. And I thought Lick It Up was a great album. Tracks like Exciter showed the very sensual side of Paul Stanley's persona of the Star Child. Just read the lyrics and you'll see what he's talking about. The title track, Lick It Up, is fantastic. Still gets played today in the live shows. All Hell's Breaking Loose. A rap introduction way before Aerosmith's Walk This Way. So if anybody thought Aerosmith did it first, sorry guys, Kiss did it first. Listen to that song. There's a rap intro and Paul does it. It's pretty good. I like it. There's what else is on there that's good? A Million to One, beautiful ballad. Love that song. Young and Wasted by Gene Simmons. These guys were hungry to survive. It shows it on this record. It's lean, mean, and Kiss is hungry to prove that they can survive in this new era. And Lick It Up does it for me in spades. Still one of my favorite albums from them, bar none. Second, we're going to go with Def Leppard, Hysteria. I believe that came out in 82, 83. Melodic, poppy, mix of synthesizers with rock. Very, very catchy. Rock of Ages. Foolin', Photograph, Too Late for Love. A lot of great songs on that album. Catchy. It's heavy, but not too heavy. So, girls, guys, no matter what age, will get into this record by now. I mean, there's nothing here that's going to offend, but it's catchy. These songs will stay in your head long after this album is over. But that's only the first step. We'll get to the next one after about these guys a little later on, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Next one is Rat, 1984, Out of the Cellar. Rat kind of sounded to me a little bit like a sleazy Aerosmith. They had that Aerosmith vibe, kind of Motley Crue-ish as well. Twin guitars like Judas Priest, so they were a little different. I liked them more than Motley Crue. I thought they were a little better. I thought they should have been bigger. That was their first full-fledged album. A Wanted Man, great opening track. Sounds like kind of like a Western thing going on with that. Round and Round. One of the catchiest songs in glam metal history. I mean, this song, it still gets played today. It was in a Geico commercial for a reason. This song is still catchy. That album is just great. It's heavy enough for you to think it's a rock album, poppy enough to not offend anybody. It's great. I love it. Next, we're going to go with Warrant, Doggy Dog, their third studio album. This is the one where Janie Lane, for me, really showed that he's a great songwriter. You have that ferocious opening track, Machine Gun. It's dirty. And it gets even sleazier with the next song with Hole in My Wall. Very dirty, very raunchy, but dark. It was a different style for Warrant, and I liked it a lot. But for me, the pièce de résistance was A Bitter Pill, which is like their version of a Bohemian Rhapsody, or as close as they're going to get to it. Starts off as a piano ballad, a little bit of rock, and in the middle there's a German opera. I mean, and it works. As crazy as it sounds, that works. And I still listen to that song today. It still blows me away every single time. I think it's phenomenal, underrated gem of an album. If you like Warrant, you need to find that album and play it once in your lifetime, and you will not be disappointed. Next would be 87's Hysteria from Def Leppard, where they took all the ingredients of Pyromania and turned the volume up to 10. This thing was a hit. It was a greatest hits record all in one. Every song could have been a hit if it were released, and a lot of them were. I think there was like 5 or 6 singles at least. You had Animal, Women, title track, Pour Some Sugar on Me, Love Bites, catchy, melodic, poppy, you name it. This had every element you can think of in music and was put in there. And this album still holds up great today. I think it's an amazing album. I love it. I can play it today and love it. I still love it as much as the day it came out. Saw them in Montreal when they came back. One of the best shows ever. Best crowd I've ever heard. Screams like they pierced your ears. Were bleeding from the show. And these guys still mention today that this is one of their best shows. And this is one of the greatest albums of that era. Deserves to be in your collection. You deserve to hear it one time in your life and be in awe of this record. Great album. The next one, same year, 87, Whitesnake, another huge album. These guys, David Coverdale, his blues band, Whitesnake was big in Europe for many, many years. Tried to be big in America and Canada. Kind of worked, would slide it in, was a platinum success. Then he had vocal problems. There was a few year gap that we didn't hear anything. Whitesnake could have been finished. He got in, created this album, took his blues, tweaked it, made it more radio friendly, a little bit more slick, a little bit more rock, a harder rock album. And who could forget the videos? Here I Go Again and Is This Love with the late great Tawny Katane, sitting on the cars, dancing on the cars, doing stuff to cars that made you wonder, like, can you all do all that on the car? Like, that's really interesting and kinky. Like it, like to try it, but my hips won't work that way. But needless to say, great songs. Crying in the Rain, Still in the Night, Here I Go Again, Is This Love, Bad Boys. These songs still rock hard. It's a hard rocking album. If you think this is just pop fun, this is a hard rock album, and it's really, really great. Next up, I would have to go with Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet. Family friendly rock, plight of the working man, with Living on a Prayer. So it was relatable to across the board. So no matter where you were from, you got into the song. There were stories to them, but for me, Wanted, Dead or Alive, that song is the track that really I love on that album. That shows life on the road. I thought that was really cool. Still my favorite from them, I guess. One of my favorites. I think it's one of their better albums. I don't think they've ever matched the greatness of that album or the impact. But, needless to say, they're still around. They're doing well. But that, for me, was the album that pushed them over the top. And still, I think, is a good album to have and listen to. I think that's it for... No, sorry, forgot. Sorry, could not have to remember this one. David Lee Roth's first full-length solo album, Eat 'Em and Smile. I think that's 87 as well. Could be off. Maybe 86, 87. David Lee Roth left Van Halen. Everybody thought he's never going to survive alone. Released an EP, Crazy from the Heat. Did well with, Just a Gigolo. Cover songs, 4 songs. Nobody took it that seriously. Said, he's coming back. No. Studio album. Great album. You had Billy Sheehan, who would go on to be Mr. Big, was on bass. Steve Vai, guitar virtuoso. Steve Vai on there, who could, maybe not be better than Van Halen, but damn it, total. If you're gonna have a guitarist, Steve Vai is not a bad choice. This guy can play like a man possessed, and he can do things like I can't even dream of yet. But great band. He had a great band with that album, and that album was very raw, very opposite of the last David Lee Roth album with Van Halen, 1984, which was very keyboard heavy. This was very guitar heavy, and it was back to the old Van Halen days. I liked that album at one point, at first better than Van Halen's 5150, but you can't really judge them. They're two different beasts. But at that time, when it first came out, I was a Roth fan, so that album really hit me. Yankee Rose, Ladies Night in Buffalo, Shy Boy, just a great rock record. So here we go. Those are my first few selections. I'm probably going to have a round 2, maybe even a round 3. And then I might even hit some pop songs, some of the 80s, some of my favorite guys, some of the guys who should have made it big and didn't. Who knows? But I kind of had fun. Was a little going back through time, a little nostalgic. And so, you know what? If you like any of these albums, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us what you like, actually. Tell me what some of your favorite glam rock albums are. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah. So thank again you first. caffeine deprivation. I need more caffeine, or alcohol. I don't know yet. It depends. So what I'm telling you now, 80s, they wrote their own tracks, they played their own instruments, and no auto tune. So you can make fun of their hair all you want. The songs remain there. They're played on radio today. They're still pretty good. Some of them have aged pretty well. So you know what? Say what you want about that era. I loved it. It rocks. I would listen to them all over again, and I would buy all those records again if I could. This is Steven from Aroundtable. Live the dream. Enjoy your music. Enjoy your day off. Have fun. Live the dream. Take care, guys.